It's another Murphy, Sam, and Jodi After the Show podcast. And so earlier, Jodi was mentioning that drones are going to be, CVS is soon going to be delivering prescription drugs by drones, potentially, anyway.
Yeah, they have a deal with UPS.
Yeah.
It's like Walgreens apparently has a deal with FedEx to do it.
And so both are already, piloting this. Walgreens says, though, that it's not prescription drugs. They're only going to deliver over-the-counter medications and light items.
See, I was wondering about that because a lot of the prescription stuff is controlled substance. Well, not a lot.
Yeah, you can't have that flying in the air.
Exactly, because if you know the routes, and somebody could throw a snare up and pull it down, or if it just happened to, crash, then there's drugs on the street.
Yeah.
Well, they're probably not going to deliver controlled. Right now, you can't even mail order certain controlled substances. You know what I mean? You've got to present your ID and all that.
He's tried.
No. Hey, can you send my Vicodin to me? No.
Oh, God.
But so I imagine they're going to be controlling that. But there's so many other hurdles that they've got to jump through before this works. Because the FAA, even though they've approved pilot programs, they still haven't figured out how you're going to manage this if 1,000 drones are in the air at the same time.
Exactly.
That's my thing. Once you're delivering pizzas via drone and messages and prescriptions or whatever.
Amazon wants to do packages.
I don't like that idea. I love it when I see a drone like, by the way, Murphy, near our house where I walk the dogs near the train tracks and there's a vet clinic not far.
Yeah.
There was a drone in the air the other day. I'm like, look, there's a drone. For sure, over the vet clinic. I'm thinking, are they doing like pictures? I don't know, but I may have been in it because I was like, but
way to ruin the shot.
Yeah, but anyway, I can't imagine a world where that's all. I mean, traffic is already nuts. I can't imagine. No, I just mean traffic in general. Busyness, the busyness of a city, for instance, and that's why quiet is so sacred, and actual being somewhere quiet in nature is so beautiful and sacred. The silence will actually stop you. That the thought of there being buzzing noises, almost constantly. Think of New York City, Chicago, those sort of places. Yeah, it worries me.
Think of New York City, where all the tall buildings. It's going to have to be something that can navigate the streets.
Yeah,
you know?
But I think it's coming in some shape or form where more drones are there.
I don't know that the FAA is worried about anything more at this point other than commercial aviation. Because remember, it was a drone. Was that overseas where that drone stopped a flight or they shut the airport down, basically?
Yeah, it was in England. They kept getting near and flying on purpose to shut down the airport.
Right. And then they're also concerned because drones can be hacked. And so,
I never thought of that.
You could redirect a drone for, bad purpose. That's the problem with technology. The technology is developed for good people for great reasons.
And the bad apples.
And the bad apples are the ones that figure out some way to use it for the wrong reasons.
Totally.
And but they have been, this is about 10 years worth now of talk about, hey, how do we have drones start delivering packages? And I didn't realize this until I was reading it a little while ago, that Amazon's not even been approved for it yet. So Walgreens and CVS were approved before Amazon for the delivery of packages.
That's because because they're drug companies, maybe?
Or maybe it's because the things that they're talking about delivering.
Drug companies,
what they want to do is the elderly is who they're focusing on, people who can't get out of their homes. And so maybe that's one reason. It's only pilot programs and it's only light things. And Walgreens is very specific about what they're going to be.
Right.
Basically, it's anything.
Cigarettes and candy bars.
Anything on the gauze aisle, Basically.
Cotton balls.
Yeah, that's right. Anything that's not going to hurt anybody can be delivered.
Yeah, I will say this. I loved the story about the dog that was rescued in Puerto Rico, which actually hundreds of them were rescued via heat-seeking drone. Hundreds of them. And some of their lives saved, and they were flown back here, some of them here, and different rescues. And, I love that idea for search and rescue.
Well, that's
Bring in the drones.
But that's not automated, and that's something that's already approved. It's not like that's got to jump through any hurdle. I mean, look, that's how they successfully imploded those cranes at the Hard Rock Hotel in New Orleans.
Drones?
Because they used
semi-successfully.
The drones didn't, the drones went up and assessed everything about placement. It wasn't safe for anybody to climb up there. Did they actually use drones to plant the things on it? Do you know?
The stories I had read was that people went up there, but it seems to me it would have been safer with drones.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I guess it can be done.
Yeah.
But for assessment, there's really nothing like that. Firefighters have been using it for a while now. I love that aspect of it because you can send these things into places that aren't safe to send humans.
I know that there are hospital systems that already use them. I know there's one in North Carolina because we did a Good Thing story about one where they use the drone to, get when there's low blood supply and you need, a certain
isolated places.
Right. You need blood. I know that they've done some of that.
It's the way to get something fast, and it's a lot less expensive than a helicopter, which is fuel, a pilot, all that kind of stuff.
It's just that you're dealing with a couple of, finding the dogs and delivering the blood. It's a couple of isolated situations.
Yeah.
You're talking mass
appeal.
Drones everywhere. Who's going to steer them? Are they going to be automated?
Drone crashes.
Can they only go a couple of blocks and come back?
Yeah.
Are they charged
there
up
are
enough
limits to what
out?
they can do so far.
Yeah.
I
remember back in like 2014 or 15, there was a promo video that went wild about a AED drone. And it's the automated electronic defibrillator.
About to say, thank you, Bailey.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it basically the thing,
paddles.
Yeah, the paddles. Clear and
clear.
Yeah, okay.
So basically you'd call the emergency line and the emergency line, if they're equipped with this, would detect where you are with your phone's GPS, and the drone would automatically launch itself to where you're at. And this drone, it wasn't completely automated. It had some person on the other side watching where the drone was at and all that kind of stuff, equipped with a microphone, and it would give you instructions on how to do the whole
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I thought was super cool.
That is super cool.
Yeah. But, that was like years ago.
Yeah.
And I think that
a few years
maybe
ago.
That's become
maybe normal
used or not. I don't know.
Yeah, well, anything that's commercially licensed and can be used and has somebody in control of it, can be done. But none of that really is on a mass scale yet. Yeah. So the difference maker here is when there's regular drone traffic in the air. I mean, I'm with Sam right now. The batteries on the best drones last about 25 minutes, so you can only go so far. And I'm guessing if you're carrying something, depending on the weight, whatever the weight limit is, that's going to burn the battery down.
Yeah.
So
it'd be interesting to see if they I don't know exactly how they separate airplanes, but if they do separate a lower level of airspace.
Sure. You mean air traffic control? Yeah.
Yeah.
Air traffic controller for drone traffic.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it could be just like in airport zones where there are certain lanes in the sky that planes use with designated altitudes, and you're not going to fly through that at a certain altitude. Yeah. It would probably have to be the same kind of thing. But again, if the drone's not going miles and miles and miles, then maybe it's restricted to it. I don't know. I don't know how you manage any of that.
That's what they're all trying to figure out.
It's the same thing with the cars, autonomous cars, that self-driving.
Right.
They keep saying we're going to have them in the next 5 years. It's like there's a lot of stuff to work out.
Besides
just the fact that they can drive without a driver. There's just so much stuff to work out.
And just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Right.
That's always the case. That's the question you always ask yourself with technology. Yeah. Just because you can do something, should you? What are the impacts? What's the risk versus reward sort of a thing?
I'm just curious to see how they're going to work this out. I guess I'm not worried about the crashing into each other, but I don't want to constantly hear that sound.
No, I don't either.
Every time you go outside.
I also have to shout out for the working man and woman. I don't want necessarily it to take a person's job, a person's life, livelihood, connection.
Imagine that sound constantly around you all day.
I'm not looking for a world where I never speak to a person, where I live in a house and I'm a hermit. I don't want that. That's not good for you.
Yeah.
Constant social is not good for you either, because we all need to have alone time every day, but not all the time. I don't believe in isolation.
I think they need to reach out to like Hanna-Barbera, the cartoon company, because if you remember in the Jetsons, they had it all down.
I rarely watched them.
They had flight lanes and everything. It's like, I used to wonder that as a kid. How do these people all know that this is the lane to fly in when it was traffic?
That's your answer? The Jetsons?
Just an idea.
Little inspiration.
Yeah.